All right, all right, all right. How's everyone doing? Damn, it's a Wednesday, all right. Let me see the chat. I gotta say, I'm kind of getting used to talk to you all every night. It's getting interesting. People saying I just finished watching Monday and Tuesday living events. I love it. I hope you like it, Jason. I hope you like it. Waiting for Brazilian to be Brazilian. Well, I gotta say, I would take that as a compliment. I like it. It's so good to see such a great success. Yes, thank you so much. I really appreciate you all. Honestly, you folks are the best. You folks are the best. So many people from all over the place. I see people from Rio de Janeiro, New Zealand, Portugal, damn, South Africa. Thank you so much for showing up today. Honestly, I'm so excited. I hope you're enjoying this week as much as I am. I think there's so much that we're talking about, and we're gonna do a quick like recap on the things that we're talking real quick, and we're gonna talk about a few things more serious as well. I think it's gonna be very interesting. I think y'all gonna like it. Also, we're gonna talk about some news. I don't know who has been watching things online and who knows like what was the thing that we launched today. Yesterday, I told you that I would launch something today. We're gonna talk about that in a second. I'm very excited about that, and there's so much going on. So much going on. Again, I want to, before we get going, I want to say how much I appreciate you all for using CrewAI, for being interested in CrewAI. This is very exciting, and I'm very happy about it. And our whole team is super excited about launching our platform. I'm going to make a very important announcement that only the people that signed up for the week is going to have access to. So this is going to be super special. So if you sign up, that's good. If you didn't sign up yet and you just showed up in here out of nowhere, make sure to sign up. It's week.crewai.com. Still there's some time. Go in there and sign up because everyone that is signed up in there is going to have access to something that is exclusive to them, right? We're not going to do this to anyone else, only for the people that is signed up in there. So make sure that you do. I'm very excited about this. All right. Let me start by sharing my screen real quick, as usual. And I want to talk about the news of the day. There's so much going on. So I don't know if you folks saw this. Let me know if you did in the chat. I'm very curious if you see this or not. And we have a new course with the one and only Andrew Yang. Uh, I hope you catch this news this morning. We basically posted a few hours ago, and it's very excited. And I want to focus on certain aspects of like what we share today and of this course because I think this course is very interesting, and I'm very excited about this in general. One, it's free, so anyone can check it out, and I love that because at the end of the day, open source is a big part of what we do. We love it, and this helps people to adopt open source better. So I'm going to show you the link for it for that you can sign up. It's on Deep Learning AI's website. I'm going to show you. It's pretty straightforward. Meanwhile, I want to talk about a few things. One, if you read this, it's not only a new course, but check out this piece. Disclosure. I have made a small seed investment in CrewAI. Yes, you heard me right. Andrew is one of our investors officially now. And I'm so happy to share that. I have been sitting on this news and I would love to share with you all. And I gotta say, it might not sound like a big deal, right? Like, well, it's an investor. Like, what? Like, why does it matter? The reason why I feel so humbled about it is because Andrew is the kind of guy that get access to everything, right? So he knows all the projects. He has been playing with all the projects. If you go on their website and you see like who they have been making courses with, like they have courses with a lot of people, like AWS, Meta, Cadron, Intel, Google, Flow Labs, Mongo, LangChain, Microsoft. So they got exposed to every single project out there. They got to record it. They got to see how it works, how people use it. But in the end of the day, he chose to partner and invest, put his own money on us. I honestly, I don't know about you, but I couldn't expect this. I was without words. I was so excited about this, and the fact that Ender is using it and Ender is loving it, and he even got some of his team in deep learning AI to actually use it. That just made me super excited. So I just had to share that with you. I think that's the kind of thing that you gotta celebrate. So this is great. And then there's more information in here about the course. I want to show you the course real quick because there's a few things in there that you're gonna like, because we talking about use cases, right? We talking about use cases on Monday. We're talking about use cases on Tuesday, and today I want to talk about a few use cases as well. And this course is full of use cases. There's so many use cases in here. So let's dive into that real quick. So this is the course. If you want to sign up, you can go to Deep Learning AI. We're going to probably create a landing page to make it easy for people to actually kind of like access this. But you can go into Deep Learning and you can search by the course, and it's this like most recent one. And the name of this course is Practical Multi AI Agents Advanced Use Cases. So let me tell you about this. This course is different from our first one. One, it is more advanced. You don't need to do the first one. You can do this one directly. It's not like you gotta do one before you do the other, but this one is a little more advanced. The other thing is all these use cases that we show in here are use cases that we collected during our beta. So we have been running this beta for a few months. We have a few hundred people that are using, a few hundred companies that are using this. And these use cases that we show in these classes, they came from some of those use cases. So this is great. So this is like, you're gonna build some actual use cases. I definitely recommend you check this out if you got interest about some of the conversations that we had yesterday. And this is a big one, right? Like the deep learning folks were telling me like, oh, maybe you went too deep on this one. Like this feels a little too big for our usual courses. And I was like, hey, if you gotta do it, you gotta do it, right? And I want to show you a little bit about this. So the way that the course works, we kind of structure in a way that I'm very excited about it. The first thing is you kind of get these lessons that start with a wide slide, right? So that we can talk a little bit about the thing. So how this works and everything. It's pretty interesting. Then you go into, and by the way, let me see if I can get the videos to load. I think I need to do Safari. All right, let me just migrate things to Safari real quick. Bear with me. You know how it is. You know how it is. Working things out live. So I'm gonna reshare it. Boom. Replace screen sharing with another window. There we go. There we go. All right. So check this out. This is pretty good. So you start with this slides that's kind of like wide. And in here, we kind of like explain some of the concepts. So I'm going to mute myself real quick. So you can see that we explain real quick what we're going to be talking about. Then we go into the slides. And in the slides, I show some use cases and we dive in theory. We talk about how this works. It's pretty good. And then we talking about a use case that we built together. So in the use case that we built together, basically there's some code for you to execute with us. And then there's like the actual use case and we talk about it. And the one thing is, because these use cases are meant for like production, we actually talk about costs. So we have a whole section for every single one, as you can see here, usage metrics and costs, where we see how much it costs for us to run this template, and how many tokens did we use. So it's great because you get the chance to do some of the math right behind this, some of the math that we did yesterday. Like, all right, like we save it kind of like this amount of money, this amount of time. Is it worth it? Is it not? And you can be your own judge on this. And the good thing is that every 2 lessons or every 2 videos is a use case. So as I said, the first one is automated project planning. So this is a crew that actually basically plans a project for you. So the way that this works is, let's say that you have a consultancy, you have a small business, you have a call with a customer, and you gotta send like basically a project plan for them to approve it or not. The way that this works is you spend a lot of time building this, so you don't know if the customer is going to close or not, right? So it's a big time commitment before you have any guarantees they're going to get some money out of that. So this kind of like helps a lot with that. Then the other use case is pretty good is building project progress. So if again, similar use case, let's say they're a consultancy, but now you need to provide reports, and this is a pain. You need like to ask like everyone, gather results, look at the tasks, see if there's anything blocked. And this is actually a very interesting use case. It uses is an integration with Trello. We use Trello just because it's a simpler API for the course, but you could do this with Jira. You can do this with any other kind of like planning software out there. And the AI agents basically will pull out the information about the cards. They're gonna see who is blocked, who is not blocked, what are the comments, who like is what tasks are delayed, and gonna give you a whole report on it. This one is very interesting. It's very interesting. I think. Let me see if I can show you the final result. Yeah, there you go. The final result's pretty good. So you can see that it's talking about the sprint progress, what are the task summaries, and it doesn't stop that. It goes about the identify the issues and blockers right in there, team performance. So it talks about what's the performance of the team, who is doing well, who is not doing well, what are some of the action items. So these are pretty good. Now this next one is great. And again, I'm not gonna go too deep into those. We're not gonna like do the course right now. I just want to show you in case if you don't want to do the course, there's still value on you at least signing up to checking out the use cases, because the use cases are very interesting. So I'm just gonna pass through those real quick before we go back into the platform. So this one I'm very excited about because this is a new feature. We launched a feature called Flows, and that was kind of like a couple weeks ago. You might have seen this online on Twitter or Google and everything, but this is a very interesting one. And by the way, I'm seeing some of the messages in here. I love this. Excited to see that people, so many of you already signed up for the course. That's so good. Thank you, Alexander. I really appreciate it. Reporting is a pain. It is a pain. I know that. Yes, thank you so much. All right. So let me show you this. This is a new feature. It's called Flows. It's very good, very cool. And this is a sales pipeline. For the people that are not familiar with sales, like as you try to sell something to someone, there's a process of enrichment, there's a process of qualification, and then there's a process of reaching out to like whatever scores better. I'm seeing people asking access, please. Yes, you all are gonna get access, and actually, we're gonna have something special for you all as well. Uh, all right, so basically loading the leads. This one is very interesting because it actually creates a visual representation for you of what your flow looks like. So you're gonna learn how to build this. These are pretty good. You can fetch the leads, then you have a crew that is scoring in, then you have traditional Python code that is basically saving it into a database, then filtering the leads, and then writing the emails another crew. So what flows help you with is basically connect crews together. So you can say like, all right, let me put the information, let me have a crew do something. Now after this, I want to do some regular Python code. I want to push this like this result somewhere. I want to process in a way, and then I want another crew to do something. So this allows you to build very complex use cases. And this is one of them where you basically want to pull information out of like places that you don't want to leave agents to do it, just because like regular Python code here feels perfect. You can do that, like fetching data from leads feels okay. And then you can have a crew to actually like analyze this data if you really want to. So this is pretty good. I see Alex left a message saying, will there be recordings? Yes, there will be recordings. Are there reflection loops? That's such a good question. Yes, there are reflection loops. So reflection loops are going to happen within the crew. So what happens is that within the crew, the agents have three kinds of memory: a short-term memory, a long-term memory, and an entity memory. So what happens is as they do their tasks, they see what they're doing good and what they're doing right. They compare with what you told them that you expected to get, and they automatically extract learnings from that. So yes, you have that loop right in there. All right, enough's enough. Let's go to the next one. The next one is insane because in this one, your agents actually code. So we're using coding agents on this one. And it's so excited because the result is so good. Let me show. Let me show you. This is basically analyzing support data. So if you have been ever in touch with people from support, you know there's a lot of data coming from that. There is kind of like how many tickets you're getting, what are the comments, what are users saying about them, do users like it, do users don't like it. So you have all this information flowing in, and it's hard to tap into that because some of that data is not structured data, and also because analyzing them usually take a lot of time. So if you check this out, we actually have our agents basically, and this is so good. Someone mentioned something about benchmarks and monitoring. So this is directly to that. There is a few features in Crew that you can use that you don't have like anywhere else, and two of them are cruise testing and cruise training. So if you look at here, we're running a test for a crew just to see what is the quality. So once that the test runs, here you can see all the tasks, what was the quality for each of those tasks, and what was the overall quality of the crew, and how long it took for this to run. So this is pretty straightforward and allows you to understand how good your crew is. And now on the new versions, we're actually doing something that you can keep track of your quality over time. So if your agents got better or if your agents got worse, you know like how you're driving things and how you're getting things into like to be more like what exactly you want. But then knowing how good your agents are just the beginning, right? You actually want to improve them. And for that, we build a new feature that is called CrewAI Train. And in here, I'm actually comparing before training and after training and showing how you can get like a better results. And the training is pretty good. Oh, actually, here, there you go. I'm running like more versions now. This lesson is pretty good. And let me show you the actual result. This is the result. So our agents actually used Python, pandas, and I forgot what library it uses for. I think it was matplotlib. It uses matplotlib to actually create charts based on the support data. And now this is autonomous. I didn't provide like any guidance on like what specific kind of charts I wanted. I was just like extract interesting information that might be worth it for me to know and to understand. So basically, it does all the research. It looks at the tickets. It writes the code, executes the code, save the charts, and now put the charts into a full blown report that you get analysis on like what exactly it's going, like what are the agents that are doing better, what are the agents that are not doing that great. It's so good, so good. So this is a lesson that I hold near and dear to my heart. All right, and I think we're getting to the final ones. We have the content creators at scale. Again, marketing is a big use case for crews in general. We early on saw a lot of interest on marketing use cases, and we're still seeing that. And this one is a very interesting because it's basically monitoring news online, and then based on that, kind of like writing content. We actually saw that with, I think I mentioned this yesterday, but if I didn't, just to let you know, we saw this with um a big company that basically handles kind of like renting houses, selling houses all across the US, so real estate business. And a lot of their business is content marketing, is how they get their leads and their customers. So they actually have basically agents monitoring legislation as legislation goes out through like the different cities and states in the US. And if a legislation shows up that changes, like that now it's better rent than buy for whatever reason, or the opposite, it then automatically reads the legislations, understands it, and starts to kind of like pushing content about it and getting new customers that way. So this is a very interesting use case as well. And agent workflows. This one. Sorry, I forgot about this for a second. Um, this one is so good. Uh, by the way, I see a message in here. Romwell, how do I get access if I don't belong to a company? No worries. We are actually gonna have a free tier in CrewAI Enterprise, so you're gonna be able to use CrewAI for free as well. So hey, don't worry too much about it. All right, let me go back in here. So this is an important one, right? Because everyone keeps talking about, oh, AI agents this, AI agents that, but what about I'm talking about use cases that are out there, right? You want to know about that. Like, how are people actually using this? What are people building with this? How good is this? Is it worth it? Is it worth spending my time learning it? Is it worth my company investing on it? And the answer is yes. And in here, I think it's kind of like honestly, I think this is kind of like the final argument about that, because this is an interview, a 10 minutes interview with Jacob Wilson. So Jacob Wilson is the commercial Gen AI CTO of PwC. So PwC, huge consulting company, right? And they are using CrewAI in production. And during this 10 minutes, I basically interviewing him, trying to understand what were their issues, what were the problems, what are they learning from deploying these agents in production? What are the things they would do different? What are the things that they love about CrewAI that help them move fast? And honestly, it's so great that we got to work with PwC, and yeah, it's impressive, super impressive what they're building with AI agents and what they're building using CrewAI specifically. So I would say this for me is one of the major highlights, because I don't see anyone putting content like this out there, right? People are talking about AI agents, but who is actually getting one of the major players and one of the major people in one of the major companies to sit down with you and spend like over 10 minutes, because 10 minutes here is the editing. It took like kind of half an hour recording this, talking about how they're using this. So you're not going to find this kind of content anywhere, talking about how you use it, how it's useful, what were the problems of actually running this in production in a company that has more than 10,000 employees. So it's insane, but it was an amazing interview. I'm not gonna play it for you. You can watch it later. And then yeah, the final ones are pretty good. It's basically showing some of the new features on CrewAI, because now you can actually use the API, use the CLI to develop your crew, and you can actually deploy this on CrewAI Enterprise. All right. Sorry, I know this took way too long, but I was too excited about this. I was too excited about this. I think there's good content in here, and I know that if you're watching this, is because you want to learn more about AI agents. Of course, you want to get access to the platform. You are gonna get access to the platform, and on top of that, you're gonna get a pretty sweet deal as well. So that's gonna happen. But I also want to make sure that I'm pointing you into other valuable resources in case you want to learn more, in case you want to understand more, in case you want to see more use cases, in case you want to learn how other companies are using this. And that's all I'm doing here. All right, let me stop sharing, because we want to talk. We want to talk about a Crew platform. So let me actually close this real quick. Let me close this. I want to show you folks some of the features that I didn't show on the platform yet. And I want to talk about why we did it the way that we did it, and how you are going to be able to use it once that you give you access. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Share screen, no, share window, 1 second, share window, and there we go. So there's a few features in here that I didn't show you yet. I didn't show you yesterday, and I didn't show you the day before yesterday. So I want to show you now, and I want to tell you some of the reasons behind that. So when you think about, like, you're already learning about all these use cases, and you're probably using Crew, or you're interested in using Crew. The one thing that you're gonna notice is that once that you bring these use cases to production, like PwC and other people that are using our platform, is you're gonna have some concerns. And it's not only the agentic features, right? There is the memory, yes. There is the ability to organize our agents, to orchestrate them, to run them into an API, yes. But there's so much more than that. For example, a big thing with enterprises is how you give access to people, right? You want to make sure that everyone has the appropriate level of access. For example, you can set up environment variables for your company, and you can set up LLM connections for your company, but you don't want anyone to come in here and actually learn, like, oh, these are the API keys. You don't want the API keys to be leaking out there. So we actually spend a lot of time thinking about this because I have built enterprise software in the past, and our team has built enterprise software in the past. So we built a very complex role system that allows you to give individual access to individual features. Again, I know this is not sexy and this is not necessarily AI, but this is fundamental for you to deploy this into a company and not have your keys leak everywhere, right? You don't want that. No one wants that. And then it's not only that. There's more features that I didn't show you. Yes, there's a lot of compliance and security. 100%. That's a big thing. You also want to be able to set defaults, right? Especially for non-technical people, because CrewAI allow you to basically give access to non-technical people to build AI agents. You want to make sure that people are not like getting access to all this, like they're not using vendors that were not approved, that were not vetted, that you don't have agreements with. I see Adriano here made a question about, is it possible to organize via business units? Yes, that's exactly what roles are for. So you can do that. So in here you can say, all right, every agent executed in here is going to have a default model. And that is a model that you have approved. That is a model that you already have an agreement with. That is a model that you know what is the data locality. Again, is not the most like AI super fancy, but hey, if you don't do this, companies cannot use these things. And honestly, there's a lot of people trying to cut corners out there, and this makes a huge difference. We actually have a new billing menu as well, so you can see like some of your expense in there and all that. All right. The other thing, templates. We are a platform, so we allow you to build a lot of things, right? You can build any of the use cases that we're talking about and so many more. There's so many use cases. But there is also the ability for you to build on top of something that we have already done. So in here, you have a bunch of templates that we are giving for everyone to use from the get-go. And the only way that you can get access to these templates is by going through the platform. These are not open source. You can download them and you can use them, but they're not open source. You need to create an account for you to use them. And you can create a free account. You don't need to pay. You can create a free account and then you can get access to them. But they are in here, so it's better for us to basically control them. So in here, you can come on and like kind of download and you can get access to the code right away, and basically can modify this online in any way that you want, or you can actually deploy it. And if you click on deploy, and you can see there are a few in here for Zendesk integrations, there are a few in here for sales offers, there's a few here for personalized outreach, there's a few here to monitor when someone is changing jobs. This is very interesting signal for sales and marketing. They're here for you to check if there's a fraudulent transaction. So there's all these things. There's meeting preparation, one that I use very often. So these are kind of like more simple but easy for you to get it going. They need to be more generic, right? We can do something very specific, but we want to make sure that it gives you an initial base to get value from this as soon as possible. And if you click on deploy, it already previews everything for you. So if you already have configured your environment variables, let's say that someone in your company already like added everything, you don't need to worry about those. You don't need to hunt those. Those are already added in here, and you can click and deploy right away. And yes, there's going to be more templates. There's going to be more and more templates that we're going to be adding. And the idea here is to actually turn this into a marketplace. So if you build a nice crew and you want to share with someone, you can actually post that in there. And then other people can use your template, and we're figuring out the dynamics around how we can make sure that you get compensated by sharing your agents with the world and everyone in the community. So again, I'm very excited about this. It's something that we're working on that I'm very excited about. Then another thing that I didn't show last few days is a lot of agents is about custom tools, right? How do you do integration so their agents can call your internal systems? And that can be your ERP, that can be your CRM, that can be a database. There's a lot that you can do in there. So what you can do is we have now an internal repository of tools. So what this means is that you can create a tool locally in your computer, and you can now push this tool into CrewAI Enterprise. So let's say that you build a tool that connects with your RAG database or connects with your CRM. You are going to push this tool into CrewAI Enterprise, and everyone in your company you're going to have access to that, or you can actually control. Once that you have some tools, unfortunately I don't have one in here, you can also control individual business units or individual roles that are going to have access to each tool. And that's important for two things. Not only because engineers are going to be able to use this repository to build like their crews locally and deploy them, but also because non-technical people are going to be able to use those tools when building agents with Crew Studio. And I'm very excited about this because these allow you for example, create a tool that integrates with HubSpot. And now someone on your marketing team can come in here and can actually create a group of AI agents to do an automation, and that will automatically pick it up that tool and use it. So this is going to work pretty well. I'm seeing some comments in here, people saying I'm on the waiting list. Yes, so you're going to have access to it. We're going to give access to everyone that signed up to AI Agents Week. We are already working on this. I have our team working in the background, going through the list and everything. And there's going to be a few nice things as well. So make sure that you look in that. People are asking how this can be integrated with Microsoft Teams and Entra. That's a great question. We actually have a major use case. I can't tell who the customer is just because NDAs, but it's one of the biggest companies in beverages around the world, and we're actually exploring integrations with Microsoft with them, specifically a few like different internal like services that they use, but we're also getting a lot of questions from other players about Microsoft Teams and accessing some of data from there. So it's very interesting. Another question is, will it possible to integrate this with internal tools used by my team via API? Yes, it is. And it's a two-way, there are two ways that you can connect this, right? You can basically have your I see people trying to guess the company. It's just funny. All right. So you're gonna be able to call your crews from an API, but you're also gonna be able to have your crews call your APIs back. So you can do that, and I can show that. I can show that for you real quick. But kicking off a crew is extremely easy. You basically, once that you have your crew live, you can actually kick it off right from here. You can give a name, an email, a domain, and you can click on start kickoff, and that will kick off your crew. And you have webhooks. So you can set up webhooks for tasks. You can set up webhooks for steps and for crews. And as you get that information back, you can update your app. So that it works pretty well. Another question in here is, any plans for multi-tenant ability to create crews as a service for other business? Yes, we are also working on that. So we have an offer where you can actually deploy this completely self-hosted. So you can actually deploy this for your company in your cloud, and you don't gotta worry about it. And there are certain levels of agreements that you can resell it, but those are more specifically like we're talking those about 101. So if you're interested, maybe reach out and we can chat more about it. Another one is, I have been waiting on the wait list for a long time. Will there be an option for those that are not initially selected? Yes. So I'm going to tell you something, Sandoval. Today, there's no selection. Everyone that is signed up for the AI Agents Week is going to have access. That's it. We're going GA, and everyone that signed up will have access. So I can tell you that. Um, are there plans to have a tool marketplace? Definitely. We're starting with private repositories first because I feel like that's the main need, right? Especially in companies. You want to make sure that you nail this. And then eventually you want to make sure that you bring this into a public setting. So there's going to be some of that as well. All right. I get back to questions in a second. Because we have a crew open here with executions, I want to show you one specific thing. And there's a few metrics that we added since the last couple of days. And I know that I show you some of this, but I wanna show you more. So we talking about training, we talking about executions. I showed you that, so I'm not gonna show you anymore. But we didn't talk about metrics. Metrics, we now added a new metric. There's a quality metric. So you can track the quality of your agents over time. You can see how well they're doing over time and if the quality improves or decreases. And whenever you do a deploy, you get one of this like blue triangles that indicates, oh, you made a deploy in here. So you can see how that changes that you did impacted your prompts, your quality, your velocity, and everything. But we're adding new metrics. You now have metrics specific around tools. So you can see exactly how many tools are being used every day. You can see what is the most common tools. You can see the most common errors. You can see the delegation. You can see how long the tool is taking to be executed and all that. And this for me is insane. It's so helpful, especially for you to pick up on problems early on. Uh, People are asking, how can I be sure that I'm on the list? If you go into week.crewai.com and sign up in there, you're in the list. You're good. Yes, there you go. Week.crewai.com. If you go in there, you're good. Also, I see Gustavo asking, Joe, are AI agents the next generation of RPA? And does IBM partnership have relation with this scenario? So uh, I I have a few hot takes on RPA. I can tell you RPA, for the ones that don't know, is robotic process automation. And it's what a lot of companies are using to automate their processes during the last few years. It's pretty good, but it's very brittle. It breaks very easily. So you kind of like set up once and then it doesn't work. It breaks as soon as the process changes. So I do think that RPA was something that people got very excited about, but it fell a little short on a bunch of the promises. And I'm 100% sure that AI agents can actually deliver on those promises. And I'm very excited that we are partnering with IBM. IBM is such an amazing company. I know they're like not everyone's like a top of mind when you're thinking about like some other stuff, but for AI, they're OG. Like Watson has been around for so long. They have been doing this for quite a while, and both their product team, but also their sales team, I'm very impressed with both of them. It's pretty amazing. Uh, People are asking about quality. What is quality in this framework? All right, I'm going to talk about that just for 1 minute. So I think I talked about this yesterday, but quality in here is with CrewAI, we make a hard requirement for you to not only describe the task that you want your agents to do, but for you to say what is the expected output. So when you do that, we can actually compare what you said is the expected output with the actual output. And then the closer it is, the better this output is, the better the quality is. So that's how quality comes to be. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going. We have now a new menu for metrics around tasks. And this is pretty good because you can see the distribution of how long the tasks are taking every time that you run it per day. You get an error rate, and this is very important. People ask me like, "Oh, what are good use cases for agents?" Well, if you need 100% accuracy, I would say it's probably not there yet. We're getting there, but it's not there yet. But if you're looking for 94, 95, 97, this is an amazing tool. We also have specific metrics on quality. We're building more into it, but you can gonna track this a little bit. And now we have a new metrics on ROI. And this one is pretty good. So what you can say is you can say how many hours each task would take you. And this helps you to track if this is actually working and if this is helping your company or not. So you can see how many hours you would have spent doing this prior having this automation and prior using AI agents. You can see how many hours actually were used by the automation, and you can see the total number of hours saved. And you're like, all right, this is a no-brainer. I'm saving 74 hours. So again, you can, and we're not going to make these claims for you. We're going to let you say How many hours you used to spend on each thing? Because these things needs to make sense for you. These things need to make sense for your company, right? You want to make sure that the automations that you're building, they're bringing you revenue, they're saving you money, they're allowing you to do things that you wouldn't do otherwise. So this is very interesting. So people are asking, don't you think RPA plus Crew plus AI? Yes, actually, that's a lot of what we're seeing. Because if you think about RPA, a lot of these RPA installations, they're already in place. They're done. And you don't want to touch it because, again, they're brittle. If you start touching and changing them too much, they might break. So what we're seeing, especially on bigger customers, is more expanding on RPA. Like they already have the RPA installation and they want to kind of like have CrewAI help with that. So that has been a very interesting approach. Um, People are saying, what is the best approach if we want to build more complex AI agents which have a very large workflows? I would say Crew is the way to go. The biggest Crew that I have seen so far is one that had 27 agents, and that's very much out there. This is not the common thing, but it's very interesting. And the other thing is, Crew is being like, think about Crew AI, especially the open source framework, as an engine. And I mean this. And by the way, let me focus on this because I think this is important. So think about CrewAI as an engine, the open source framework, like a car engine. And the reason why I say that is because people are putting miles on it, right? A couple weeks ago, we broke our record. In one single day, there are over 1 million agents that were executed using CrewAI. So there's a lot of miles that people are putting in this engine, and they're trying it out and they're running and it's working and people like it. And you can think about the platform as the car that is built around this engine. Now you have AC, now you have a wheel, now you have like everything that it could want in a car, and that kind of helps you ship faster. So I would say this is definitely the way that we should be thinking about, like about CrewAI in general, and in some of the ways that we have been building this. And yeah, I really appreciate you asking about complex workflows, because it's very important. I think if you don't support complexity, there's no way that you can actually make a good product when you're talking about AI agents. So there's a lot going on in there. People are saying IBM, Microsoft, CrewAI partnership. I will say no comments. How do you handle if a tool is behind a firewall? That's a great question. And that doesn't need to be a problem. Remember, we actually have an offering of CrewAI Enterprise that you deploy within your infrastructure. So that will be within your cloud. That will be within your private VPC. So you can basically have this talk with any internal systems, making sure that no data is leaving your systems other than whatever LLM calls that you do, but you probably have an approved vendor for that as well. Will you have a security tab as well? That's a great question. We can definitely aggregate some of the security features in a security tab. Right now, it's kind of like a few different features that kind of goes into that. So there's a lot of things that goes into that. All right. Sorry, I can't answer too many questions. There's a few things that I want to cover still. And I want to talk about how you're gonna get access to the platform, and I also want to give you a very exciting news, and it's something that we're doing, and it's gonna be once in a lifetime. We're not gonna do this again, so I would talk about this. But hey, hold on to your horses. Just give me an extra 5 minutes. I want to show you a few extra things. Chris asking, when will this be available? Oh, this is testing. No, or there you go. When will this be available, Chris? This is gonna be available for everyone that is signed up for the AI Agents Week tomorrow morning. So tomorrow morning, every one of you is gonna get an email and access the platform. And I'm gonna tell you more about it in a second. So bear with me, because there is one good gotcha. It's a good thing. It's not like a hurdle. There's no more waiting. There's no more anything, but it's gonna be a good one. And I'm gonna tell you that in a second. All right. So the other thing is we have integrations that we're testing. This is kind of like an alpha feature, but we're working on that. There's people using Slack, people using HubSpot, and people using Zapier. and this is very good. We are using a lot of HubSpot and Slack ourselves. I personally love the Slack integration in HubSpot as well. By the way, another thing that I think I don't know if you folks saw this, but Dharmesh, the CTO of HubSpot, is actually one of our investors as well. He is, and we're working with him. He has a very interesting project, and we are working with him as well. And this has been great. It's been very interesting to work with someone like him. So we are using a lot of this HubSpot integration. It's pretty good. I would definitely recommend you check it out once that you get access to the platform. And let me see what else. I think there's one extra thing, and that was management UI. Yes. So for the people that are not technical, right? If you think about the people in your organization, in your company, all right, they can come in here and they can create their automations with no code. They can basically talk about this, talk everything, click on create crew, and now they have a crew online. But how do they use it? Because now this crew is an API. And if the person is not technical, even though they have created a crew using the studio, as you can see in here, the annotation is studio crew, they can't call this API. They're not technical, they're not engineers. Well, that's why we have the management UI. Management UI allows you to get these agents to work directly on the UI. So you can actually like kick off these agents directly from here, and they're going to create a card, and you're going to start to see they pulling up this card and getting some work done. And once that the work gets done, you can actually explore the individual task results, and you can actually see the final output right in there as well. So you can see the agent already picked this one up. So this is great because now someone that is not a technical within your company basically got empowered to try build AI agents. And it's that simple. You can do that in a few minutes. So there you go. This one is done. You can inspect it. You can see what was the final result. You can see the individual task results. And if you want to dig deeper and you want to get more technical, you can always do that. You can always open the actual execution and dive into that. And in there, you're going to find all the specifics informations about the agent and everything. Exactly. Sergio got me. Agents on Jira. People are already used to manage projects and manage work on UIs like that with cards. So why not make it simple? Why not make it simple for people to actually do it? Also, people are asking, what are the languages? It's actually multi-language. You can use any language that you want. We have a few companies that are actually using Portuguese. Brazilian companies are moving very fast. American companies are moving faster. Australian companies are moving very fast as well. So we are seeing people like using this in so many different languages. And it has been very interesting. All right, enough's enough. Let me tell you about you getting access. I think I showed you enough, and I'm very excited about getting you all to use this. So there is going to be API access, yes. We're going to do eventually an WhatsApp integration. We don't do it now, but we have Zapier integration, and you can do WhatsApp through Zapier. So worst case scenario, you can do that. So let me tell you about how you're going to get access. First thing, we are going to do something specifically for people that sign up. So if you sign up and you have been with us and you watch those classes and you're super interested in AI agents, we're going to send an email tomorrow morning for everyone that signed up, getting them access to the platform. And the reason why we're doing it tomorrow and not today is because we're testing one of the final things out. Bear with me. We're testing everything as much as we can to make sure that we get you all access. But tomorrow morning, because we made you wait so long, for the people that sign up, we're going to give you a 20% discount on whatever plan you choose. If you want to use for free, you can use for free. That is not a problem. But if you want to pay, you're going to have a 20% discount. And we're not going to do a 20% discount later. Like, this is not going to be happening 3 days from now, a week from now. We're like, this is one time. So if you want to do it, you can choose to do it. If you want to use for free, use for free. You can pay later if you want to. If not, that's okay. So there's a lot of things. But this is going to be only available for people that sign up. So if you're watching and you haven't signed up, I would say go into week.crewai.com and sign up in there. And we're going to send this email tomorrow. So you have a few hours from today all the way to tomorrow. There might be what, like 12 hours, maybe 15 hours. And then we're going to send this email to everyone. And there's going to be a coupon in there. And you can use this coupon. And you're going to be able to use it to get this percent discount. And we're going to have our entire team available. So it doesn't matter if you're picking like one of the cheaper plans, and we're going to have very cheaper plans. So you can like, it's very friendly for engineers. But if you also want to use like one of the super expensive plans, and that's like where we're seeing a lot of the Fortune 500, the Global 2000 companies that we're working with to go for, that discount is still applied. The 20% is for the first year. Great question, Aki. So it's 20% for the first year. It's the entire year of discount. So even if you're a big corporation and you're like, hey, I want to hire one of the big plans, don't worry, you still get a 20% discount on that too. So all that is happening. So bear with me. I have an entire team of engineers working pretty hard tonight, kind of like getting everything ironed out, all these small details in place so that you all can join this tomorrow. And I'm so excited. I would ask you for a few things. Once that you sign up, take a picture, share with the world, tell them how you feel about it, as long as it's good. If you don't like it, let me know. I would love to make it better. I would love to improve on this. We have been working pretty hard, and I'm so excited that we finally got to this moment in time where we can share this with more people. And I want to say again, I don't want to get cheesy, but I really appreciate you all. Honestly, like I really appreciate the fact that you all are using this and you are interested in AI agents as much as I am. And I love the fact that I got the chance to do this, and it's so much fun. I think I'm the luckiest person in the world. Yes, Igor, you can update plans later. Honestly, I think by now I just want to make sure that people get a chance to use it. Will there be a less extensive platform for individual users? Yes. So you're gonna be able, like, there's a few things. The cheaper plans have a few less features. The more expensive plans have more features, and then you also have a limitation on quantity, like how many crews you run and all that, just so that we don't bankrupt us in the process. But that's basically it. When you'll be able to see the tiers tomorrow, when you sign up, during the process of sign up, you're going to see all the tiers. You're going to be able to choose them. You're going to have a list with every single detail about like what you have on each plan, and you can choose them. And by the way, you don't need to choose it right away, like in the morning. I'm not a morning person. I need to take a good amount of coffee before I make any solid decisions. So what you can actually do is you're going to have 24 hours to use that coupon, and you can use that coupon at any point. So you can sleep on it, you can give it a try, you can deploy crews, you can deploy templates, you can give me feedback, and that will be good. Thank you so much for bearing with me. I know that a lot of you have been waiting on the waiting list for a long time, and that's not fun, but I really appreciate it. John is asking if there's going to be any training. Yes, especially on the higher plans, we actually have specific people on our team. They're solutions consultant. They're working with some of the bigger players in bigger companies to help them onboard, build, and deploy and all that. So if you're into that category where like you're gonna go for like a bigger plan, then you're gonna have access to that. You're gonna have access to these people from our team. They're gonna be available to help you. And sometimes I show up as well. I show up in some of those meetings and I talk use cases. And sometimes I spend 1 hour building use cases with some of these people. So I would say definitely check it out if you're interested on going for some of the bigger plans. Folks, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I know that we're closing in on time. I love the fact that I get to do this again, and I'm very excited. I'm gonna go back into coding because we have a lot that we need to finish and tune it up and making sure that you have an amazing experience tomorrow. So thank you so much for all the support. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to check out the course with Andrew. Like Andrew's team and Andrew himself put so much work on that. I'm so excited that I got to partner with someone like Andrew and having him as an investor. So make sure to check that out. There's a lot of content in there talking about use cases. And there's also the interview with PwC, how one of the biggest companies out there is using. Again, like we're giving you all the information that you need to take an informed decision on if you want to use those things or not and how they can help you in your business. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you all. Have an amazing night. I'm gonna be coding, and we're going to be sending you an email tomorrow with the discount and access to the platform. I really appreciate you, and we're going to do another one of this soon. I had a lot of fun. I hope you had too. I catch you later. Have a good one.